And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? It is another day. It is time for us to talk about this week's news. Welcome to the NPCs Weekly News Roundup. It is September 4th, 2020. My name is Travis, and of course, because the global pandemic does not want to bring anybody together anymore unless you live in the same house, I am joined via Discord by Kyle. Kyle, good evening. I'm glad you could get your computer restarted and join up basically in time. Oh, looks like, hold on a minute. Now your audio doesn't seem to be working here. Hang on a second. Check that. Let's see. Say something again.
All right. Am
There
I
we go. Yay.
okay now?
Yeah, now we're good. My stupid remapping of audio and crap. This is why I have a dedicated streaming PC, but I'm streaming from my regular rig right now. But whatever. All right. So in tonight's news, not only do we have the big Nintendo Direct talking about the Mario 35th anniversary stuff that's going on. We've also got Sony looking to bring some more games to the PC. We've also got some backwards compatibility concerns for one of the new consoles coming up. And again, just like the rumor that goes around, we have the possibility of maybe a new Switch just down the line. So I'm going to roll that intro and we are going to get things started. All right, let's go ahead and move in here to our first story of the evening. And this one comes to us from Kotaku. I picked this one because I liked the way that their summary actually went. But of course, this is industry-wide right now anyway. Everything Nintendo just announced in its Mario Showcase. So, believe it was yesterday morning, we actually got a official full-on Nintendo Direct confirming everything that we had been hearing so far about what was down the line for Mario's 35th anniversary. So I'm not going to go ahead and read I'll just read through the stuff that we do have here, but there's a lot of really good stuff down the line. So first thing, of course, on the list from Kotaku is a new novelty handheld. And it says, coming November 13th, 2020, is a new Game & Watch style handheld loaded with the original Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and a Mario-themed edition of the classic Game & Watch title Ball. And I gotta say, that handheld actually looks pretty slick. I mean,
And what a perfect thing to present on a modern day Game & Watch too.
Oh yeah, I agree. And the fact that it's got the color screen, it's going to be, your old school Mario anyway. The fact that you can just have something like this, I can't remember if they actually had a price on there for it. They did not yet. But the fact though that it's like you could get something like this if it ends up being, $20 or something like that, and it's something little you need to throw in your bag to keep you busy in case your Switch dies or your laptop, your gaming PC die. You have something at least to keep you at least a little bit busy, right? So,
oh yeah.
But I love the look of it though. I love just maintaining those classic aesthetics. Next up on the list, of course, is the long rumored 3D Mario collection. Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy will all be coming to the Switch with higher resolutions and optimized for said Switch. The compilation is called Super Mario 3D AllStars and will be sold from September 18th until March 31st, 2021. Yes, there is an end date. Yes, that's weird. And I agree with you, Kotaku. So we get all three of these games in just one collection. The concern, of course, that a lot of people have is that you only have this small window to be able to actually buy these games in. And I was reading in another article yesterday when this was announced that there was a comparison to another thing that was like a limited run event with games. And I can't remember what game it was that was like, oh, no, it wasn't a game. It wasn't a game, Kyle. It was Disney's vault. How Disney will bring movies out of the vault after so much time to actually put up for sale. It's classics that people have bought, on
Right.
VHS and DVD and now, of course, Blu-ray. They'll bring them out, they'll sell them for a while, and then they'll put them away. And then, of course, later on down the line, they'll bring them back out again. People go nuts buying them again, too. So a lot of people were making the comparison to Disney's vault. And the way that Disney handles the release of those. So it's possible that we get this for now, and then later on we'll see a re-release of either this again in the future or maybe another set of Mario 3D games. But
Which also kind of makes me fear that could we see scalpers on this, just buying up stock trying to make an extra buck.
Yeah, that's
I
my
would hope
biggest
not.
worry. That is honestly my
But
biggest worry right now.
if it's something that they release on the eShop as a limited time offer as well, um, I could see that being a good alternative to be able to gain access to it. Because I know that many people have played Mario 64 in one iteration or another. Mario Sunshine and Galaxy, though, I really loved. I've only played each of them like through all the way once, like 100%. I would definitely like to play those again.
Mine, of course, was Super Mario 64, where I played it all the way through and then went back and, tried a few other times. But, the ones through was at least good enough for me. Sunshine and Galaxy, I only dabbled in. So the fact, though, that they're releasing it now in just one cart that you can play all three of those games, perfectly fine with me to be able to go back and do that again. Yeah, especially because my daughter's so big into Super Mario now, and I'm working her through Super Mario World. To have these games coming out next, it's like, okay, we'll beat Super Mario World, and then you and I will move on to these next ones. And I know she's 3. She's not going to be able to do a lot with it anyway, but it's at least, following the evolution of what Mario has been. So that's really cool. Yeah, at least in the main platformer line. Next up on the list, of course, we had a surprise announcement here. And if anybody goes out and watches the video of this is actually really neat. They are going to be releasing a Mario Kart remote control unit that you actually control with your Switch, and it's an augmented reality game. So the article goes on to say, to ensure we never leave our homes again, Nintendo is making a new Mario Kart game featuring actual toys that you can race around your house. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit is an AR game that lets you race real toys in your living room. The physical cart responds to boosts in-game and in the real world, stops when hit with an item, and can be affected in different ways depending on the race. Nintendo said in a press release, players place gates to create a custom course layout in their home where the only limit is their imagination. And the video goes on to show someone actually, kid playing with the Nintendo Switch, being able to see, and the cart itself, for anybody who's actually seen the little remote control Mario Karts that you can get, it's a little bit bigger than that, but it has a camera that just loops over. So basically the view here you see in this picture from Kotaku's article is what you're going to be seeing on the is where the camera is placed on the back of the cart itself. It looks really cool, but you're talking $100 for this, and I think they had said that there were going to be 3 carts released. There's going to be Mario, Luigi, and I think either Bowser or Yoshi was the third one.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so it's just those ones. I wish it would be more of like...
I don't know. I feel like it definitely has more of an appeal to the people that have larger living rooms that are, wood or tile surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes it difficult for people that have carpeted surfaces. So.
I would think that is going to be a big problem. I think like where I actually see this is we on like in our like when we have like super long downtimes at work where it's like, okay, we're in between projects and between like responsibilities and that stuff. We actually have one of those Anki racing tracks. I could actually see at some point where if people decide, to go and buy this type of stuff, is bringing in their Nintendo Switches and driving these around our cube farm all over the floor.
Yeah.
Just, we got to get the blessing of the boss, of course, to do stuff like that. But that right there would be something because, of course, it is more spacious. But you look at the way housing is anyway, too, and you may not have those larger spaces like you said, or you might live in an apartment. Imagine this driving around,
right.
And yeah, you're going to either disturb the people above you or below you. So,
but it did look like there was some really innovative tracks that you could create that had, some definite like twists and turns in them. So It's not like you were restricted to straight lines, and it is a really cool way for Nintendo always being the collectible company, because that's how they started. Kind of leaning into that with this augmented reality toy.
Let's see. I'm actually going to find the video here now. I switched over to my own camera here because I don't need people to see all the crazy stuff that I watch on YouTube. So I'm just going to bring up that trailer here really quick. And let me switch it back. There we go. I mean, this does not look that bad at all, though. I mean, I think the fact, though, that at least you get the AR, but you're actually driving around a physical card is neat. But yeah, if you look at the actual trailer, it's literally exactly that. It's all very Let me turn that down a bit. It's all very like spacious, open living room to play this in.
Yeah.
But I wonder how this is going to work with more than one cart. Because you look at the size of this thing and the size of this house, you get 3 carts going, you're going to end up knocking crap over.
That's very true. It definitely leans into, a very spacious, clean household. Probably pet-free, but,
Let's see.
It does have a certain appeal.
Never mind, they are not that big. Someone actually just in the video here, actually, a little girl brought out a Luigi cart, and it's not actually that big. That's not bad. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. So it is Luigi and Mario, at least at minimum in there, but I swear to God there was at least another one, though. Okay, that was my mistake.
I can
it was
imagine
only those
these
2.
being a little bit like, do you remember back, I think it was about the time we were in junior high, maybe high school. Radio Shack had come out with those Zip Zap cars.
Dude,
maybe
I
a little
miss
bit bigger
those
than
so
those.
much. I actually had like a crazy, like I had a dream actually in the last couple of weeks about one of those, and I went online to go look for them because I had the little ones that you actually charge on top of the remote control.
Yeah, and you could take them apart and customize them and
then
whatnot.
and then they had the next scale up, which were a little bit bigger, more like if you built a model car. They had those ones too at Radio Shack. I had both. Yeah, dude, I miss those. Like if they could do something like that with this, I mean, the camera tech is not all that bad anymore either. You look at the cameras that are on, phones and that too. You could fit a smaller sensor in there and make a tinier car like that. I mean, hell, they're slapping cameras on all those cheap, $30, $40 drones at Walmart. So why not? But yeah, I remember those. Those were in my mind the other day. So stay out of my head, Kyle. I swear to God, get out of there. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm looking probably to pick up the Mario Luigi set there for sure of those racers. But carrying on in the rest of the stuff we've got. So the Wii U game Super Mario 3D World is getting a Switch port with online and local co-op multiplayer, new levels as part of something called Bowser's Fury, and a new Cat Mario and Cat Peach amiibo coming February 12th of this next year. The amiibos that they actually showed off at least from what I could tell in the pictures, they looked like, remember how the Yoshi's Woolly World amiibo looked, where it was actually yarn?
Yeah.
It looks just about
I actually have those.
Yeah, it almost looks like the cat suits that Mario and Peach have. On those, they actually look like they have some sort of like furry type texture to them.
Maybe like they're felted or something.
That's what they looked like. I could very well be wrong, but that's about what they looked like, and they look really neat.
That would be really cool.
Got to add to my whole cool collection of amiibos here because of, I got to add to my 2 with Ivysaur because Bulbasaur is the best Pokemon, and I don't care what anybody says. And of course, then Toon Link. Oh, we're not going to get into that. I don't have time for that tonight. Next up, of course.
That's a battle for another time.
That is a battle for another time. We'll save it for a topic episode or something. We do have a Mario Battle Royale coming down the line, too. So for a limited time, Super Mario Bros. 35 will allow you and 34 other people to battle it out in a race to the finish. According to Nintendo, enemies defeated will be sent to other players' courses, but that also works the other way around. Players can activate special items to try and outpace their opponents, because everything, including Mario, is a Battle Royale now. And yes, I agree with that. So I don't know exactly what else to say there, but it looks like the Battle Royale stuff that goes on... It looks like you're just completing the level, and if you can get through it without dying, then hey, good for you. Until they incorporate Mario Maker stuff into it, and anything from Ross from the Game Grumps. I think this could be really fun.
And speaking of that, that kind of leads into the limited time that this one will be on the network.
Absolutely.
I think this one's supposed to be available till March?
Yeah,
next year.
So it's going to follow the exact same time frame as the 3D release, the 3D AllStars release.
So maybe, who knows, maybe like in a couple years we could see a physical release, or maybe they could do a physical release later on, or is it part of something else? But
true,
I don't know.
It could be one of those time
Definitely
things.
one to download and try out.
Agreed. I'm going to have some fun with that one too. Super Mario All-Stars has returned as well. So yesterday it was actually put up on, I believe it was the Virtual Console, if I saw that correctly. So you don't have to go back and
Yeah.
rebuy it. But yeah, you go into the Super Nintendo Virtual Console and you can play Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and 3. So if you want to relive that side of it without having to go to the NES part of the Virtual Console, then by all means you have that. Bunch of other things here,
And
like
they have the Super NES graphics too that are rendered that
true.
way, so it's kind of cool.
They do, especially if you're really into those scaling up parts there for sure, or at least the
Yeah.
sprite changes. A bunch of other things, of course, that came down the line too. So we've got, we got stuff for the Mario Kart Tour app for phones, where they're adding in some additional things. Super Mario Maker 2 is getting a set of 35th anniversary themed speedrun courses. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Splatoon 2 are going to have their own events. So Super Smash Bros. Is going to have a Super Mario only tournament. So any characters that have appeared in Super Mario games are going to be in there. We've also got stuff like a Splatfest as well. And then March of next year, Animal Crossing New Horizons will have Super Mario furniture. I think that's more of like just the cleanup part, just to say, okay, this is how we're going to end it, is to be able to do such. Also, a couple other kind of like external collaborations as well too. So there's a set of basketball shoes that are being made by Puma for Super Mario 64 that will launch today, actually. Some clothing collaboration, and then some additional toys and new games. So there's a Super Mario Jenga, Super Mario Monopoly, all that type of stuff as well too. So we've been talking about this release for most of the year. That there was a supposed event that was going to happen where we were going to be seeing all of these things released. And here we are now. Of course, we are so close to the anniversary of Mario, which actually, like, let's see, Mario Bros. Release date. Super Mario Bros. Release date. Really? We already passed it? No, that's the other one. September 13th, 1985 is when Super Mario Bros., the one we all know and love, released.
Oh.
So we are only about a week and a half away from the true anniversary, and it falls on a Sunday. So there you go. But yeah, it's been a rumor that we've talked about in news roundups, podcast-wise and such too. I'm looking forward to picking up the 3D, though. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm really looking forward to it because I'm getting my daughter into it, and it's going to be great to show the boys as well, as it comes into the fact that it's more Mario. It's more Mario for them to play that's, not Odyssey and going to these same few levels that they have been over the last, since Odyssey released. But yeah, fun stuff coming down the line. So, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
I think you've got the next story here talking about, of course, a memorial that I'm sure probably some of us might have seen coming. But let's talk about this one here from Polygon about Black Panther statue added to Fortnite. So what is going on in the world of Fortnite with this one, Kyle?
Well, of course, Fortnite has done Marvel stuff in the past. But continuing into the story, Fortnite developer Epic Games added a new Marvel detail to the island overnight. A Black Panther monument called Panther's Prow. Marvel and Black Panther fans have begun visiting the statue on the Fortnite island and paying tribute to the actor Chadwick Boseman, according to Eurogamer. Boseman, who starred in Black Panther, died at 43 last week due to complication from colon cancer. The new Marvel crossover Fortnite season began last week. The Fortnite map has been evolving with different points of interest added across the map. You can find the monument to the left of Misty Meadows, which of course doesn't mean much to me because I don't play Fortnite at all, but for all you guys out there. An Epic Games spokesperson confirmed to Kotaku that the monument was previously planned. As with the rest of the world, we were greatly saddened to learn of the passing of actor Chadwick Boseman, the spokesperson said. The Black Panther monument arrived this morning as part of the previously planned narrative for the new Chapter 2 Season 4 season. Wow, that's a mouthful.
That is really
Panther's
a lot.
Prowl. Yeah. Panther's Prowl is the third Marvel update to the Fortnite map after Ant-Man and X-Men references were added over the last week. Players can expect more of the events from the Marvel narrative to unfold and Galactus to approach the island. The Marvel updates are for Fortnite players, except for those on iOS and Mac devices. Of course, we know
Yep.
about the grand
That's a big one
Apple
right now.
and Epic lawsuit, so I won't even continue on because we've been following that as closely as possible.
Yeah, I
So,
think a lot of you have probably seen our coverage of that, and if you haven't, go back and check the last couple weeks of news roundups there, of course, and make sure you get yourself caught up on what's going on with Epic and Apple. And of course, it trails to a lot of other people. But no, this is I feel that of course this was because this was planned as such anyway, though, to be that we were coming up to the newest part of the Fortnite event anyway for this whole big Marvel crossover. That if this was the next thing to at least be added, then cool. It was definitely it's very interesting that it would have been on there unless they just bumped it up the schedule to add it. So it's cool to see. I think that's at least a neat way to do it, especially with how popular Fortnite is, how popular Black Panther has been, especially not only for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but for a lot of people out there too. So this was a good addition. Of course, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Too soon. And at least though, cancer sucks. At least it wasn't COVID or anything else. So yeah.
but it is very sad.
It is. It is. We're going to miss him on the big screen for sure. All right, let's move in here to our next story on the list. And this one comes to us from PC Gamer, and this one actually makes me very excited. Sony wants to bring more first-party games to PC. 2020 corporate report cites PC gaming as a competitor. Really? PC gaming's a competitor for the PlayStation?
Who would have thought?
Sony has said in a 2020 corporate report that it plans to bring more first-party games to the PC in the future. We will explore expanding our first-party titles to the PC platform, said the report, in order to promote further growth in our profitability. The decision to bring more of the Sony in-house catalog to the PC is cited as a key strategic point to the coming direction of its game and network services division. The reason for the change, I need to pause that video, it's bugging the crap out of me. The reason for the change is partially given in the report. Competition from online PC games and players from other industries is expected to continue to intensify. In short, Sony wants to bring games to the PC because that's where a certain segment of the game buying audience already is, and presumably because Sony thinks they'll stay there. It's mostly true. The statement comes from following the release of Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Both games were PS4 exclusives, released much earlier on the console, and per Sony's previous statements, that's likely to happen more. Delayed releases on PC of PlayStation console exclusives. Of course, though, article goes on, at least in this last paragraph, it says that there have been no PS5 exclusives announced for PC, which, to be perfectly honest with you, is not a surprise. It's basically what we would expect, is that we know what's coming out on PlayStation 5, at least as of right now. The only problem we have is that we don't know, and we probably won't know at least till next year about what could be coming out to PC. I would love God of War to be like the next thing that comes out, or even Spider-Man. I don't have anything against Horizon Zero Dawn, but I would love it at least if one of those two games could come out here soon, because you hear all the things, especially hearing from you, Kyle, and from Preston, and talking with Dan as well, though, too, and then hearing it from a bunch of other people. That's like a Spider-Man, really, it was such a great game on the PlayStation that it's something that I need to go and play. But I don't own a PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
I have an Xbox One, I have the Switch, and I have my PC. I spend most of my time on my PC. So if they can do that, or just as the where is it, right here, the screen cap here shows of I use PlayStation Now as an example, just because it's PC, it's PlayStation games on PC in one subscription package. But that's one of the big things, is that it's like, if I can get that stuff on here, then obviously I'll throw money at Sony to be able to get it. That's just straight up fact, and I know I'm not the only one. So looking forward to seeing what else comes up.
Well, you think about it too. There are so many Sony licensed games that even just come that are smaller titles that just come out on the PlayStation, and they would be a lot more successful if people had the ability to play them on the PC. You see some of them launch on like PC on Steam, like some of the RPGs, but if those were to come to the PC, they would have far larger of an audience, I think. So
I think so, or at least possibly convince the folks who are PC gamers to maybe go get a PlayStation. I mean, maybe that digital version might be one of those things that might entice people to go and do it. Don't know. Like I said, I'm getting a Series X. That's already on the list. To keep the whole continuity with the Xbox stuff, with the accessories I have and the games I have. PlayStation 5, if the all digital edition is cost effective, that will probably end up being a purchase. But we'll see. But yeah,
But who knows? Maybe we could see in the future PlayStation doing more of what Xbox is doing, a service that's more similar to that with their current titles. So if that becomes available, then there might not need to be the need to invest into a new system. So
it's possible. That's very possible. Like that may be where we're at. We may be on the cusp that you may not need to do anything like that anymore, and it becomes more like a PC.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the hope that a lot of people I think have. So yeah. Let's move on to a fun story here. This one's actually really interesting. I like this one that you found here, Kyle. So let's just go right into it. Here is the Xbox Series X being compared to a bunch of other consoles. And this is preface this by saying that this is talking about physical comparisons, not talking hardware and power.
And one of the reasons I had to find this article too is because I had found that picture that someone had done a mock-up of the Series X next to consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy actually got a hold of one of those demo models that Austin Evans got to take apart, and we all got to watch on YouTube. So
that's right.
It's kind of cool that he got a hold of one of those, and he's actually able to set it next to, and say, hey, this is a PlayStation 3. This is an Xbox Series X. This is a Xbox One, version 1. This is a Xbox Series X.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just curious to find out how he actually got a hold of this, though. Like, I don't know if the video goes on to say or anything, because even through the article, it says that the guy is speaking Polish here. But do you want me to play the video on this one, Kyle, or do you want me to just go through the pictures that they have of the side-by-side comparisons?
If you want to go just through some of the pictures, it's kind of fun. I could go ahead and read the little blurb that they have. But it says, it's no secret that the Xbox Series X is going to be a chonky boy. Everything we've seen so far has suggested that the monolithic box is going to take up quite a bit of cabinet space when it comes to time to launch this November. Over on YouTube, Manic Gaming has posted a video that includes a number of size comparisons using a prototype of the Xbox Series X. Of course, the entire video is in Polish, as we said before. But it has a visual guide to how big the Series X is going to be. It's a fascinating video. So if you guys want, definitely check it out. It's really cool just getting to see, all the different size comparisons. Yeah, you're especially, when it goes back to like the GameCube. I love that one.
I just find this so interesting to actually see this, like an actual tangible physical product.
Yeah, the Xbox Series X is 3 GameCubes.
3 GameCubes is not a measurement. It reminds me of
now.
That reminds me of the Family Guy thing. It's like, where are you getting your units of measurement? 3 GameCubes, half a PlayStation. I just sorry. Anyway, go ahead, carry on.
In Egypt, during the time of pharaohs and whatnot, they used a cubit, and a cubit was actually the size of your fist. So it actually changed depending on who your builder was.
Jeez, it's just crazy. Yeah, that would make sense. That's why we now use rulers and a whole bunch of other things to build up our stuff. But yeah, it's just crazy to actually see it, especially when he puts it up next to a Xbox Series or Xbox One S, and the actual depth of it is not as much. But you got to cool all that crap off even more. So, but that is cool though. I actually am very excited to have this thing in my hands though now, because I swear, like it's It's so cool looking. I think the PlayStation 5 has me a little turned off because it really does look like a router. Okay, I can deal with the refrigerator. Okay, example here. I can deal with the refrigerator comments, of course, though. But I think the Series X is going to look better on my entertainment stand than the PlayStation 5 will.
I do want to point out that, though, of course, on the model that he has, it does have that disc at the bottom. So we'll have to see if post-production models are actually have that stand that's on there, if it's detachable, or what kind of options we have.
So in the video,
when it comes to laying it down too.
So in the video, if you actually look when he was turning the console around, you could actually see rubber feet on the sides. So they're already built in. So you don't have to do like what you did with the PlayStation 5 to undo the stand to move it around. It's just that circular stand will remain there. You could just put it over.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. So that means that you don't have to do anything weird to be able to get it to lay on its side. So that's cool. You don't have to go.
But I'm saying if you had the aesthetic option, if you wanted it to look more similar on both sides rather than having that awkward circular stand.
Tell you what, Kyle, okay? You've convinced me, all right? I will talk to the wife. I will see if she'll let me spend the money so I can build my Ryzen Threadripper setup. And just for you, I will take apart a Series X when I get one, and I will slap it into the inside of that, and I'll grab a PlayStation 5 and do that too, and I'll build a Switch dock into it. I'll do everything just like Origin PC did, okay? I will do that just for you. Doesn't mean you get it, but I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
So you want to talk about aesthetics? Let's just shove everything into one giant PC case, and then it's just, there you go. That's it. Everybody's taken care of it, and everybody's happy. But
good luck with the cooling on that one.
Yeah, tell me about it. I have to liquid cool everything. But let's move on here into our next story where there's definitely a little bit of air cooling in one way or another, I suppose. This one comes to us from Engadget. Microsoft fixed several flight simulator installation issues. This has been the biggest obstacle to flying for many users. While Microsoft's launch of Flight Simulator 2020 has largely been a success, lots of folks have found that the massive 150 gigabyte app can get stuck during installation. To that end, Microsoft has released a patch designed to fix multiple installation issues along with some minor stability and other issues. There's a laundry list of installation problems addressed according to the patch notes. Install process will no longer be blocked after partial decompression of a package. Process no longer be blocked when a local user account includes non-ASCII characters. Install process no longer be blocked after failed connection to servers. No longer display an empty onboarding screen under certain conditions. And then the title will download a critical missing deleted package to access the main menu, even if the save data preference is set to offline. In addition, the game will no longer automatically download packages deleted by the content manager or get stuck in an infinite loading state when offline. Fantastic. I think that's actually plenty there to talk about with Flight Simulator, especially given the circumstances of how big of an install that game actually is. Like it's crazy is how big that one is. Like it's 100 gigs. I get that. But I sat at my computer waiting for that thing to download for what felt like an hour. And I've got 400 megabit per second down in this house. So I don't know what happened.
Well, and I had heard that people with Google Fiber, just for the entire download, it was taking like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because...
So that's pretty crazy.
Oh, and the dog's been unleashed. Yeah, it doesn't matter exactly how... What sucks is it doesn't matter exactly how much internet you have. It depends on the internet on the other side.
Yeah.
It's always going to, no matter what. And I will say, though, at least it's good that they've got some of these issues taken care of. I wish they could deploy more of the game to different CDNs so it deploys a little bit faster. But, it is what it is when it comes to a bunch of people downloading stuff. I mean, look at how Christmas is. Okay, look at how Christmas is when people get that new console, and the parents, of course, are not smart enough. I will fully admit there have been a couple times like that, but I've gotten much better about it, where you go and put that console up, and there's an update to install. Those servers get hammered like shit, and they download like shit, so you may not be able to play your shiny new console for hours. until that stuff downloads. So it's an issue that's been plaguing the industry for quite some time anyway. It's just, it is what it is right now until they release physical medium for a lot more of this stuff. Like, where you can go get a flash drive that has this in there. You just have to wait. But at least it's good to see that they fixed all that. It's stuff I didn't experience. It's stuff I still have yet to experience. I still love flying around. So I guess I'll just keep an eye out to see if anything does happen to me. But let's talk about our next story here on the list, Kyle. And this one is actually, like I said, this is a big one here. This one's from GameSpot. PS5 Backwards Compatibility. No support for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, or PlayStation 1 games, says Ubisoft. Although rumors suggest a plan similar to Xbox, it seems the PlayStation 5 will only be backwards compatible with some PlayStation 4 titles. So, Kyle, this is a damn shame here, dude. Tell us about this one here. A lot of people are going to be upset about this.
Yeah, I believe so. The latest chapter of the backwards compatibility saga for PlayStation has unfolded. Sony has been somewhat coy about details regarding the PlayStation 5's backwards compatibility support, and specifically whether it will be able to play games from generations prior to the PlayStation 4. Will you be able to play PS3, PS2, and original PlayStation titles on the PS5? According to Ubisoft, those systems games are not supported on the next-gen console, although whether or not this is true remains to be seen. As Ubisoft's support page explains how its title will transition from PS4 to PS5, as each publisher seems to be taking a different approach to the cross-gen upgrade. The post mentioned that the PS4 players will be able to play games with PS5 players online, which aligns with Ubisoft's commitment thus far to offer free next-generation upgrades to those titles like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion. Near the end, though, the page adds that this note, backwards compatibility will be available for supported PlayStation 4 titles, but will not be possible for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, or PlayStation games. And then an update does state that Ubisoft's support page has now been amended to remove the reference to older PlayStation hardware. As of yet, Sony has still no commented or has not commented. Bleh, sorry, word salad there. So it's unclear if the company simply didn't want this information out there yet, or if it's inaccurate. This could mean the backwards compatibility beyond the PlayStation 4 isn't part of Sony's plan for the new console, or that Ubisoft isn't able to say otherwise just yet. With the limited time until launch and the vague message around which PlayStation 4 title will be playable on PS5 at launch still, it's likely to be the former. GameSpot has reached out to Sony for clarification.
Jesus Christ.
As comparison, Microsoft has already confirmed that Xbox Series X will be backwards compatible with the majority of Xbox One games, as well as the Xbox 360 and original Xbox games that are already compatible with their current generation console. More games are expected to be added to the backwards compatibility list once the Series X launches. Microsoft has paused the addition of new backwards compatible games on the Xbox One in the meantime.
Jeez.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not actually shocked that came from a publisher slash developer, honestly, because that's usually how this stuff gets out. That's usually how we hear about these things so fast, is that the publishers will go put something out because they're under the impression they need to make this a known thing about their titles. And it goes well above and beyond anything Sony expected them to actually say. So I don't know if Ubisoft's going to be in a little bit of trouble for possibly breaking an NDA on that side of things.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. But maybe they're also coming from the stance that, they've produced games for previous PlayStation consoles. So they know about each of the consoles' architecture. When they made the jump from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 architecture was completely bizarre to most game developers. and it was actually really hard to develop for.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had the PlayStation 3s that could play PlayStation 2 games, they actually had a PlayStation 2 built into the system to be
Yeah,
able to do that.
and then they did a
So,
re-release of the they did a re-release of the PlayStation 3. Like they did a second or a second hardware revision that looked like the PlayStation
mhm.
3 that was first being sold, but it got rid of the backwards compatibility. I think that was the case. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
um I don't know, it with PlayStation it's been a constantly evolving architecture every time that they've put out a console,
Mm-hmm.
and they also want to keep their architecture unique uh, to Sony. So
Right. And now it's up to
I
them to figure out the emulation side of things to be able to handle that backwards
right,
compatibility.
and maybe that's where Ubisoft is coming from when they make that statement. But I could see how they could possibly be violating an NDA that they even forgot that they signed.
Right. But again, yeah, they've probably gone through and they were probably starting to test stuff. And Sony's probably like, well, we're not there yet. But then, of course, someone just went and put
Yeah,
that stuff up there. But that's what happens. That's how the industry works, anyways. I mean, look at all the things
very
that we see
true.
announced, from overseas for things that will be coming out here. But anyway, it's it happens. It is disappointing though for Sony fans, at least, especially for anybody that does have a large catalog of those older PlayStation titles. But because there's been no talk about backwards compatibility on the PlayStation yet, and of course Microsoft has been out there like crazy with the Xbox Series X, not only backwards compatibility for those games, but your hardware as well too. They're winning that part of it. So,
Oh yeah.
and then of course Nintendo, we don't really need to talk about right now, but we can at least wait and see what happens, because it may be one of those things that might be like a later, like all the architecture's there, it's just not fully tuned yet. So maybe next year, after PlayStation 5's already been out for some time, they'll just flip a switch and it's like backwards compatibility is now there. These are the titles we've tested it with. These are the titles that are the most popular in the Sony catalog. Let's see what happens. So
Yeah.
another wait and see, as it always is
Very much
in the
so.
news.
Very much so.
Be patient, people. I'm talking to you specifically. I'm watching you and I see you and I know exactly what you're thinking, but be patient. That's right. Don't test me. Let's move on to the next story, though. This one comes to us from VG247. When Rocket League goes free to play, it won't require PlayStation Plus or Switch Online. You will no longer need to use PlayStation Plus or Switch Online to play Rocket League when it goes free to play. Psyonix has announced that Rocket League players will no longer need to have a subscription to PlayStation Plus or Switch Online to play the game online. The news was announced in a recent blog post on the official website. Rocket League is going free to play this summer, and the core gameplay will remain the same, but the main menus will be refined. An update on current platforms will be rolled out in the next few weeks around mid-September, and the launch of free to play will follow shortly after. Once the game goes free to play, you'll be able to bring your inventory, Rocket Pass progress, and competitive rank to any platform where you play the game by using your Epic Games account. It will release on the Epic Games Store on PC at the same time it goes free to play. Once that occurs, it will no longer be made available for purchase on Steam. This version will be cross-platform play anywhere you play, including between the Epic Games Store and Steam. The only thing that this article does not actually go on to mention, which came up in a separate article, is that there has been no talk about any sort of possible multiplayer subscription requirement, on the Xbox, which means that if you play Rocket League on Xbox, you are still going to need to pay for Xbox Live, which not trying to sound off or anything like that, but I feel like Xbox Live is pretty much paid for by almost everybody. I mean, I can't imagine a moment where someone's not paying for it.
Right.
I could think maybe more back towards like the Xbox 360 days, but because of how much Microsoft has really pushed Xbox Live, and now, of course, the addition of Game Pass and that, it just seems like one of those things that a lot of people have. So I can't imagine this being any sort of killer there whatsoever, because you don't just have an Xbox to play Rocket League. Nobody has that. So unless Dave has it, but I don't know. I'll have to ask him. That's just the thing, is that it's just that's something that some people saw, but this falls in line at least on the Fortnite side of things, because Fortnite is free to play on multiplayer wise, of course, through the Switch. You don't have to have Switch Online. I think it's the same way on PlayStation, Xbox, of course, again, and you still need Xbox Live. So I think it's going to be the norm for a while, but who knows? Maybe Microsoft will change their ways and say, nah, you don't need it. You're good. I don't know. I really don't. Kyle, what do you think? You think so? No?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. With Xbox transforming their online, because we know that right now you can only purchase the 3-month and 1-month memberships. Who knows? Maybe free to play is coming on the Xbox side, and we just don't know it yet.
Absolutely. It could be. I mean, because you think that's where everything's going right now. And this is a lot of the stuff that it's like I don't think people really understand here, though, too, is that physical devices are not really doing it for anybody anymore in regards to businesses selling those devices. Apple has clearly said that they are moving more towards and more transitioning towards the services side of things. So they want to make money by selling a service, recurring subscriptions. Apple Music is a good example for that. Microsoft has been doing that for some time with Xbox Live. Of course, it's recurring revenue. Sony's been getting into that with PlayStation Plus. We've got Nintendo doing it with Switch Online. So a lot of companies are transitioning to providing services more than they are hardware, at least making services part of the more of the core side of the business than just the hardware. So like we talked about earlier, Kyle, you were saying specifically about kind of like where we're going to be seeing things go with the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 and how we're looking at maybe more so not seeing these big console releases anymore, but more of just like taking a game and just making like continuations of it just to keep things going without actually changing the hardware. I think that's kind of where we're going to be seeing things go next. We may actually be looking at the last true console wars, like the actual like change in what we've known for the last 30 some odd years of how one console goes against the other. And it's kind of making sense on how that's going to be. The problem that we have right now is we don't know what that hardware is going to look like to allow for further pushing of these titles. Is Microsoft going to re-release the Xbox Series X where you can actually pull the hood off the top of it and upgrade the CPU, upgrade the RAM, upgrade your drive space, do all those little things to be able to help you push farther ahead without having a big commitment to go to another console? Just like we do with PC gaming right now. I've had the same gaming PC here for 3 years. I have been able to upgrade the graphics card. I have been able to upgrade the processor. I've added in a solid state drive and another hard drive as well too. Those were some pricey additions, but I've got more life out of my PC. And I wonder if we're going to be seeing more of that too. And you think
about it, Sony has kind of toyed with that on previous consoles with the ability to take out the hard drive and replace it with a different one. Whereas Microsoft, they did make it more of a proprietary chore to do so, but you could still do it. I mean, it was plug and play, but it's still proprietary. Whereas Sony, you could take a stock hard drive that you bought at the store, for a computer and slap it in there. And as long as you could format it, you could get it to work.
Yeah. And I actually did the research on that too, because my Xbox One, I have an original gen, white Xbox One, 500 gig hard drive. I can only install nowadays a few games on it.
Right.
The problem with that, of course, then goes into something like Modern Warfare, which requires about 100 gigs to install. I got a lot of stuff to kick off of that console before I can even install Modern Warfare. I wanted to go ahead and open that thing up, install a solid state drive, and get it going. But because it's not like the PlayStations of yore, not only the 4 Pro and the 3 and the 3 Slim and that, it's not like that. So it requires a special, you have to go ahead and break it. It's way out of warranty anyway, so whatever. But you have to get into it. You have to pull the drive out. You have to mount that drive to your computer using a special SATA to USB cable. to actually get your data off of there. And then you have to mount your new drive to your computer and use some special formatting tools to be able to make it recognizable to the Xbox. For the average person, that's a lot of freaking work. That is a lot of work that I don't see anybody really taking compared to the PlayStation. You just slap a new hard drive in. I don't know about moving
Well, you
data
slap a new
around.
hard drive in. You have to download the OS onto a jump drive, and it. I don't know about the PlayStation 3 because I'd never done it with the PlayStation 3, but with the PlayStation 4, it's as easy as plugging in the hard drive, making sure that it's the right format when you plug it in. Basically, I'm spacing right now, but
it's all right, man.
It not unformatted.
Yeah.
And you plug it in, and shoot, it might even format just any drive when you plug it in,
as long as the drive fits in.
As long as it's empty,
Yeah.
And you just plug in the USB port or USB jump drive, and it when it's prompted, it installs, and you're good to go. It's super easy.
Yeah, and I wish we could have that on the Xbox. I'm hopeful, of course, with this new expansion slot that they're putting in for their pseudo proprietary cards. But I'm hoping that we actually get to see some sort of third party ones instead, so you don't have to pay the first party tax. So, but no, it's where we're getting in the world of consoles right now, that they're going to have to really step their game up, because PC building is getting to be much easier than it used to be. The cost to get into it in the first place is that much, it's that much more cost effective, that if you want a PC, like, especially because everybody's getting into streaming, you can go buy a pre-built PC from like NZXT as an example. They have actually a stream PC for like, I think $700, which based on rumor might be $100 more than the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So you get that value out of it, where it's not just a standalone console. It's actually it's a computer that you can play games on, and you can do all this other stuff on.
Very true.
So it's one of those things that it hasn't actually had that much of a in the last 10 years or so, if not maybe just a little bit before that. The barrier to get in and build your own PC has been really wiped away, and it's so easy to do. You'll run into some issues from time to time, but the fact that you can just get all your parts, go through PC Part Picker, list out what you need, finding out the size of power supply you need, finding out the size of, getting your hard drive stuff set, basically everything. Okay. The console makers need to figure out something next. Yeah. Nintendo hasn't figured it out yet. Nintendo is still new to the online stuff, still new to the subscription stuff. Microsoft is well more positioned, just is better positioned given the circumstances of their history. Sony, sure, yes and no. They've had some big hits, some big misses in the last few years, so I don't know exactly what could happen to them. But they're going to have to make some changes, and I think we're at that point now, like I said at the start of this kind of rant, that we're probably in the very, like, either we're in the last or soon to be last console wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But enough of that. I have ranted for long enough.
Speaking of upgrades...
Yeah, great segue.
Nintendo might have a new upgrade for us coming in 2021.
Woo! Yeah, let's talk about this one from Tom's Guide. New Nintendo Switch coming in 2021 with the upgrade you've been waiting for. A Nintendo Switch 2 could hit stores in 2021 with 4K support and a huge new game lineup. Kyle, what are they saying about this Switch 2 that supposedly we've been hearing about for a long time and now we're hearing more about again?
A new Switch 2 seems likely for next year, and it could give Nintendo's console a new weapon against the PS5 and Xbox Series X launching this fall. That's according to Takashi Mochizuki at Bloomberg, who reports at Nintendo plans on launching an upgraded Nintendo Switch in 2021 that may feature better specs and even 4K graphics output. rumors of the new Switch launching in 2021 started making the rounds earlier this week, thanks to the supply chain report out of Taipei. But now we have a slightly clearer idea of what kind of performance we should expect from Nintendo's next hybrid console. According to Bloomberg, Nintendo is planning a large wave of big new game releases from both first and third parties to accompany this rumored 4K Switch. The outlet notes that these games would address a wide range of players, from casual gamers seeking small doses of escapism to the more devoted fans putting in marathon gaming sessions. That may explain why the rest of 2020 looks relatively quiet for the Switch, aside from Pikmin 3 re-releasing and Bravely Default 2 and rumored collection of Mario games, which we now know.
Yeah, which, by the way,
coming.
this story is from 2 weeks ago because we did not do the news last week, but this was still a big enough one that we needed to talk about. Go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
Very much so. Very much so. While the Switch has sold more than 62 million units worldwide and has been flying off the shelves as people look for entertainment during a pandemic, it's hard to blame Nintendo for prepping a more powerful model. The PS5 and Xbox Series X are set to arrive this fall, both touting advanced features such as instant game loading, 8K resolution support, and dynamic ray tracing to make games more immersive than ever. A new Nintendo Switch likely won't compete with these consoles on sheer power, but it could at least provide a more high-end experience and possibly support hot third-party games like Cyberpunk 2077 and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The current Switch is limited to 1080p output to TV mode and 720p in handheld mode, so a jump to 4K would provide much more immersion for the latest Mario and Zelda games. And whereas the PS5 and Xbox Series X are tipped to cost in the ballpark of $400 to $500, a new Switch could be the ultimate next-gen value if it stays close to the original $300 asking price.
Yep.
The next Nintendo Direct presentation is tipped. Oh, and we already covered the next one, so I won't even continue with that.
Yeah, don't even bother with that. Yeah.
But that I think this is something that is actually going to be coming. I mean, we had been hearing earlier this year that we might be getting a Switch Pro.
Yeah, there was expectation that it would just appear.
No, was that last year that we were rumored to get the Switch Pro, and we got the Switch Lite, and then we were rumored to get the Switch Pro, and we keep getting more and more rumors about a Switch Pro. So I think it's definitely in the pipeline. I don't think it's just people throwing rumors out there.
No, I think we have been talking about my fucking nose. We have been talking about a Pro Switch, for at least over a year now. And Nintendo has not done a refresh really on the Switch, save for the Lite. Now, my prediction
and the battery upgrade. And everything.
Yeah, which the battery upgrade was also that tweak to kind of try to block the rooting and hacking of the Switch,
right? Which
didn't work because we still have that going on right now. So, yay for piracy. Not really, but more for the modding community than anything. But
yeah,
we've been talking about it for a while though. I'm still not sure exactly what to expect of a Pro. I don't know if we're going to see if the new console is going to literally be just a Switch as it looks right now with the beefier specs inside of it, and that's it. Or, I talked about this, I think, in a news roundup, like way back, of course, when we first started hearing these rumors, that the next part of what Nintendo is going to do might actually just be some sort of dock that actually has the additional hardware put into it that allows for increasing that power, increasing that capability of the Switch. So it's not necessarily going to be more of a portable thing that you're taking with you where you actually have the 4K gaming on the go, but you're going to be at home with a 4K device plugged in to be able to actually play these games themselves. That's what I'm thinking still, is that I think that the actual thing is going to be a dock. I don't think it's going to
Or
be a new
who
Switch.
knows? Maybe we'll get we'll get like a 10 something crazy like a 10-inch tablet with edgeless LCD display, and they just go crazy.
It's going to look like the Galaxy Fold is what's going to happen. It's going to look exactly
right?
like that. Yeah, you fold it open and close.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. A hardware refresh is absolutely necessary. I'm not talking about the one that just did the battery life improvement. I'm not talking about the Switch Lite or anything. I'm talking about a true hardware refresh. I agree. I think what you're looking at is that what is it? It's an NVIDIA. It's a Tegra processor. Excuse me. The NVIDIA Tegra processor that's in there now is way out of date, and I don't know if we're gonna see.
Well, and NVIDIA just released new processors that are blowing everything out of the water. So there's no reason that we could see a refresh on something similar to what we have in the Switch console, as far as a processor that would be compatible with the current hardware to increase performance. Maybe we could see something that would have a sharper display, maybe a slightly larger display, remove some of the border. I'm not saying go borderless, though. I don't see that being a good option for a Switch.
No, I don't think so either. I wonder if what we're going to see is more of like kind of the interesting step up that we saw from the Wii to the Wii U. I wonder if that's going to be more of it, because the Wii U allowed for the Wii games, the Wii accessories and that to still continue to work with it. But the Wii U offered that additional, the higher level of quality that came out of it.
Right.
But then also you have the tablet controller though too, which is what the Switch is really based on. So,
but you think about it too. Nintendo's kind of done this to us in the past with the DS line.
Yeah, they have.
They did it with the Game Boy line, where we got the regular Game Boy for, how long, and then we got the Game Boy Light, but then it turned into the Game Boy Color, and all of a sudden there were games that could only work on Game Boy Color units.
Same with Game Boy Advance, and then when we changed over to the DS, and you could play Game Boy Advance games, but then the Advance games went away, and they went to the DS Lite, the DSi.
What about the couple of 3DS games that were exclusive to the new 3DS because they needed the extra processor power?
Minecraft and what was the other one? The other one was a JRPG.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
That's it. Yep, that was it. Yeah. I had to think about it. I was like, I knew it was a freaking JRPG.
I know there's like 2 or 3 other ones, but those are just immediate jump outs.
Yep.
But maybe if they do a refresh like that, maybe we could see some like crazier titles get refreshed, that are exclusive, or maybe you could download an update that is specific for that hardware.
Maybe.
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, you think about it, it's the same type of stuff we do with PCs anyway, right? And if we're going that way with the current consoles, that you're going to be able to get an update on a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
What would blow my mind is if Nintendo came out and said this is the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro, and it's got a Ryzen 4000 series mobile processor in it. And then every console's running Ryzen. I want it.
That'd be insane.
I'd want it. I'd buy it hardcore. I will probably buy the Switch Pro, but yeah, that would be cool to just take step up.
Just an update to the guts, maybe the screen, and you'd be good. Keep all the hardware all the rest of the hardware the same, your controllers and whatnot.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, I hit the wrong button there, and yeah. Oh well. I accidentally showed off the dashboard for the live streaming stuff there on YouTube Studio. So, hey, everybody got a little flash of that. Oh. Anyway, everybody, that was it for this week's news. Got a lot of stuff going on, at least. It doesn't feel like it. I think the weeks just drown on so much that it's like you can't stay on top of at least everything. And I'm sure we've probably missed some big stuff. But that was it for our weekly news live stream for this week. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We do have new podcasts coming down the line for this next week. If you have not checked out this week's What Are You Playing in this week's topic episode, please make sure to go to our anchor.fm page. Check that out. It's anchor.fm/the-NPCs-podcast. This week's topic episode is top racers. And I gotta be perfectly honest, fighting kart racers against kart racers was tough as hell. So make sure to go there, listen, and get your pitchforks and torches ready to yell at us about which kart racers actually made it to the top. Of course, we do this here on YouTube and Facebook, so please make sure to follow our Facebook page, follow our Twitter page. Just search for the NPCs podcast. You can also make sure to hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page as well, though, too. I've actually got some thumbnail work to do for Battletoads here that Preston created as a once-over. To get that up for you guys to go ahead and check that out and hear at least Preston's thoughts on the sequel to the Battletoads game from the early 90s. So fun stuff there. But again, Kyle, thanks again, as always, dude, for joining me. And again,
absolutely.
Thank you to the audience for sticking with us through all of these different stories. We will catch you guys all later.
Later.